all I've been hearing on social media from the liberal media is about the starvation in Gaza, how Israel's not allowing any aid in or blah, 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 whatever. So I went down there. I went down to the border between Israel and Egypt and Gaza, and I checked it out for myself. So this is Egypt, and we're also on the border of Gaza. And as you can see here, there's hundreds of trucks of aid waiting to go into Gaza to provide food and resources. There's actually so much food here that they're dumping some of it along the sides as things break when they're trying to transfer it in, so much so that there's flies buzzing everywhere around here. So it's a complete lie that there's no aid going into Gaza whatsoever. It's actually so much that they can't even get it in there fast enough. So we've been here about 10 minutes, and we've seen nothing but trucks going in and out, some coming from Israel, some coming from Egypt, and constant going in and out. Empty ones coming out, full ones going in. Dozens of trucks every couple minutes. The myth that the aid's not going in, it's not getting there, is garbage. Once it gets in there, Hamas controls the territory. Are they the ones ransacking it? We're going to check it out. So you can see the American escorts of former U.S. military and special forces escorting aid trucks from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is mostly paid for by Israel. They are coming in and out in dozens and dozens of these trucks at a time. We were in that area for about an hour and saw dozens of trucks going into Gaza, escorted by American former military contractors. So what happens when the aid gets in? Hamas steals it. The war in Gaza was one of the main topics I had with the Speaker of Israel's parliament, our equivalent of Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And this guy, he honestly, one of my favorite interviews. He was just a normal guy, wanted to talk about stuff. Off camera, we were talking about guns and guitars, but he's pretty interesting. Listen to what he had to say. Well, Speaker Ohana, I appreciate you having us in your office today. We walked in. Seemed like a guy I'd like. You're the party of guns. You got guitars over here.
Oh, yeah. Guns and guitars are my two favorite things, other than politics. Thank you for having me, Carb. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
No, this is great. This is my first time in the Middle East not being shot at, so it's nice. But, it was interesting just...
we just intercepted a few hours ago a Yemenite missile going from the Houthis.
Yeah.
So we almost could break that tradition.
Yeah. So we got a chance to hear some gunfire at some of the borders here, some of the wars going on. But, one of the big things right now that you guys are engaged in is this war in Gaza right now. Yeah. I've talked to a number of your counterparts in various different parts of government about this, and a lot of people still don't understand that you have half the faction of your government that doesn't want to invade Gaza, yet what's the other option?
Well, there is no other option. If you strive to end the cycle of violence, you must finish Hamas, and there is no other way than invading Gaza, confronting them, fighting them. We have tried many other methods before. As you have rightfully stated in one of your statements, we have left Gaza completely 20 years ago.
Right. And how'd that turn out?
Yes. In 2005, the Israeli government, headed by the late Ariel Sharon, accepted the disengagement plan, which meant we have ended our presence in Gaza completely. Soldiers, civilians, settlers. We even took the dead out of the graves because we knew what would happen if we lived in there. Some expected that Gaza would become the Singapore of the Middle East. Can you imagine that? I remember the headlines. Yeah. Others were more skeptical. They said maybe not the Singapore of the Middle East, but at least from that region we will face no more violence, because what's the case? Mm-hmm. With the foreign aid they have received throughout the years, they could have paved the stairways of Gaza in gold. They could have. What they did instead is to dig terror tunnels underneath our villages, to get missiles and rockets that would go further and further to kill more and more Israelis. And now October 7th. For this to end, you must finish Hamas.
Well, what's crazy to me is Egypt won't take any of them. Not the civilians, not the refugees, not the children. Egypt won't take any of them. President Trump is talking right now with your government about South Sudan and potentially moving some of them there. It's difficult to get anybody in the Middle East to take anybody from Gaza, yet you guys are supposed to coexist?
Guess why? This is the first time ever that a sitting president in the White House is thinking outside of the box, presenting something new that has a true potential to end the cycle of violence. Let them have the best lives ever elsewhere. Let us separate willingly. So we are very hopeful that this plan that President Trump presented could be implemented, if not fully, at least partially.
Yeah.
I think it is a great idea. And President Trump has these kind of ideas outside of the box, thinking rationally. He's a very smart, very clever person. And
That's why we like him too.
Yes, and we love him.
Yeah. The other thing too is you've got world leaders over 40 countries now, but recently England, France, Spain, Canada saying, hey, you know what? We're calling for a Palestinian state. And, we walked around here and I asked people like, hey, where is Palestine in your mind? They just laugh at you. Like, how can you have other countries calling to divide up property you took in the 6-Day War that is Israeli property and making it a state of people that want to kill you?
They used to say about Beirut, it is the Paris of the Middle East. Now Paris looks like the Middle East of Europe.
Yeah.
And I say to President Macron, to Prime Minister Stammer, and all of those wanting to establish a so-called Palestinian state, put it up in London, put it up in Paris, in your countries, because we are not going to reward the atrocities of October 7th, which is what they do.
Yeah.
And who is it that praises them? Hamas. Openly.
Yeah.
Praises Macron, praises Prime Minister Stammer. Why is that? Because in our region, everyone gets the message. Hamas won. Once they recognize a Palestinian state, this was the goal, and then Hamas won. We're not going to let that happen. And I'm very happy that America stands with us on that too.
Yeah.
And we heard Secretary of State Rubio saying, it's going to be very bad if other countries should recognize a so-called Palestinian state. Now, we had this debate, let me tell you, here in this country, before October 7th. I belong to the majority that was opposing the idea of a so-called Palestinian state, but we had a significant minority supporting it. This is no longer the case. Following October 7th, everyone understands that the message gets to Hamas that you have won and you are to be awarded for the atrocities of October 7th. But this is not only a bad message because of our region, because it is a bad message to terrorist organizations throughout the world.
Yeah.
They get it. This is how you get the job done.
Yeah.
Burning, killing, murdering, raping, mutilating. This is how you get the job done. It's a very bad message to the freedom-loving world.
We talked about service, but there is a faction in Israel that chooses not to serve, a religious group, I guess they call it ultra-Orthodox. They believe that they should be, learning religion all day and not serving in the military. How is that received among people who do their 2, 4, 6 years of service?
This is a very hot debate right now regarding the draft bill that is being discussed right now in the Knesset. First of all, let me say that the majority of the ultra-Orthodox do not serve in the military, but some do. Okay. Some do, like Mendy right here, serving in the IDF as a warrior, fighting for his country. We need to expand the ranks of the military. Following October 7th, it is very clear. I think even the ultra-Orthodox understands that. And this is what we're working on, to find a formula that would allow us to expand the ranks of the military, having a better share of the burden, of the national burden in this country. And on the other hand, of course, to be able to recruit an ultra-Orthodox and let him be an Orthodox in the military.
Right.
We need to adjust the military to be able to do that. So this is what we are working on. It's a very hot issue, but I bet that we can manage to bring a bill that would be beneficial both to the ultra-Orthodox society, to the Israeli society, and to this country.
So Iran, obviously, big issue here. They have tentacles everywhere. Hezbollah, obviously, Gaza, they've been heavily funding the Hamas militants down there.
Houthis.
Yeah, Houthis. The American military obviously just basically turned a whole section of their country into a parking lot. But you guys are still dealing with massive funding and weapons from them.
Absolutely, and I think we need to understand that this is very far from being a local conflict. This is a global struggle. Because the ideology portrayed by the Ayatollah regime of Iran seeks to dominate the world. I want to show you something, Carl, that happened just recently in the Iranian parliament. Now, what you would see here is they are shouting death to America, death to Israel.
Seem like a bunch of nice guys, right?
Yeah, but this is not a footage of a terrorist cell somewhere around the world, an underground terrorist cell. This is the official parliament, the Majlis of the Islamic Republic of Iran, calling for the annihilation of both our nations.
Yeah, not on my watch.
Not on our watch. This is what we're doing. Why is it that we are listening to them? Because we have our own history. We cannot ignore genocidal threats when we hear them. Mm-hmm. We did it before with Hitler. Now, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
They are trying to do everything they can to obtain the nuclear weapons to enable them to fulfill just what they have said. Death to America, death to Israel. Yeah. Thank God for America, thank God for Israel, and thank God for Newsmax for delivering the truth, unlike the mainstream media, to the people.
So lastly, Iran's obviously working very hard to get a nuclear weapon. Some people believe they already have a very rudimentary one. Do you believe they have a nuclear weapon at this point?
No, I don't believe so. If they would use it.
Yeah.
Thanks to God, thanks to Netanyahu, thanks to Trump, and thanks to the B-2s, they won't.
The sense of duty that I've seen of the Israeli people is actually remarkable. And I want to touch on gun culture. I mean, America is the gun capital of the world, 450 million guns. But, I walk around here, it makes me feel great to see men and women even carrying guns openly. And it's part of culture here because you guys have these people a mile down the road.
You are speaking basically to the Israeli NRA.
Yeah.
When I joined, I'm carrying a weapon myself since I was 18. Actually, I had a license when I was 14 for the air gun.
Okay.
But whenever I joined the Knesset, I entered the Knesset at the end of 2015. The same week, we have faced a terrorist attack in Tel Aviv. It was a Friday noon, the midst of the city, and no one was there to confront the terrorist that shot and killed 2 people and wounded others, and then kidnapped a taxi, killing the taxi driver later. And for a week, we couldn't find him until our special forces could locate him and eliminate him. And then I opened the gun caucus at the Knesset, the gun lobby at the Knesset.
Yeah, which is your Congress. Yeah.
Yes, and the purpose was to expand the ranks of those who can carry firearms for self-defense. We need more and more of those. Imagine on October 7th, if we had more people that could defend themselves, the picture would be very much different.
Yeah.
But we have managed to expand the ranks, and I hope that we will continue to do that, and that more and more Israelis could defend themselves.
Right.
It's a necessity.
Yeah, well, let's keep it that way.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, sir.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.